so this is an existing install from the old version to the new. So I have some limb risers on mine, but they actually do fit, which was awesome. I already had taken off the other side. So for those of you that have limb risers, they fit in right around that lamp nicely. Holes line up and everything, so good job, Mabett. Word of caution when you're working on this with these bolts, taking them in and out, always put a little towel or something and stuff in here, because once you start taking these bolts underneath out, good chance of losing them down in there, so you want to lay something here just to catch it. Alright, so we're going to take this bolt off, this bolt, and I believe there's one more right here. 1, 2, 3. So also, after you remove that, it's a good time to do some cleanup. You know, just quick cleanup while you got it off, because you know, once you get the next one on, you're not going to be able to access this area. So it's always good to get a cleanup when you can. Helps prevent rusting and everything else. I'm going to install this first, then I'll worry about wiring later. But first thing we have to do, we got to get some electrical tape over this connection, get it all sealed up so it's all nice and tidy, not exposed like this, because again, I like to keep a nice wrap similar to this, you know, so it all looks nice and even, and it keeps the wires protected, because you know, these little wires can easily get nipped. Most of it's going down in here, it's not going to be touched, but still a good idea to always wrap your wires. So we'll come back after I do that. Now the next step we got to do is we got to take this existing Ford rubber piece off that came off your standard OEM piece that was on here, if you have just OEM. So there's some clips here on the bottom. You got to pry those up to get them over the clip, and then this comes off. So now that you have it off, you want to put it on the new one, just go ahead and reverse the process by just pressing them on to the new fixture. And you'll know when they hit, because they snap right in. Okay, important note I found out is that the first time these things get screwed in, they need a little assistance. So make sure you pre-screw these in, so otherwise it's going to be hard just to get them started when it's mounted on there. It'll give you resistance right there, but as soon as you break it through, it has threads in there, but as soon as you break it through, you get it started, then it's in there pretty easy, and then you can back it out, and that way it makes it much easier when you're installing it. Okay, what I'm going to do now is put my limb riser back on now that I can know how to do it. So I'm going to put the stud back into the Gen 2 versions, and then I'm going to put my bracket on the outside. Again, for those that don't have it, this step, you just put the bolts back in the new version without the fixture I have here. But I have a limb riser for my truck, so that's why I'm putting it back on. But again, thank you, big shout out to Mabett for, you know, thinking about that, and actually worked very well. So that's the final result. Pretty nice. Alright, so fixtures all installed. Now it's time to do some wiring. Alright, so this cord here, this plug goes to your headlight, and that is right, let me find it here, plugs in right there. You can see the plug. So you unplug that from the headlight, that's this here. Then what you're going to do is you're going to plug your harness, your new harness, this one with the deep socket into this. Okay, so now I got that plugged in, and that's coming from the light, goes up in there, goes up into the harness goes into the system. All right, now this is an extension power cord. This runs to the other side, period. That's all it does, supplies power to the other side. This other cord that I have just makeshift here is going up to your fuse box. And your fuse box, it goes to the 15 amp next to this blue one when you open up the fuse box on the Bronco. Plug it in, and then you've got your power routed to your system. Next, you have to route this extension power cord that is going to go from essentially here. That'll plug in down there. I'm gonna have to get it routed here, but essentially it goes over to the other side and down, because I got this light already wired down in there too. All right, and then here it is. Here it is here. Okay. All right, passenger side. So I ran that power cord I was telling you about. I ran it across the other side and just tapped into it here, soldered it to the other line that runs into this little Y connector with a little quick plug. But I didn't use that. You can use either one of these and it'll power it either way. Just options. But the one that came with it was not long enough to stretch my width of the truck. So I had to create a new one. But anyways, same side, you know, as again, your, get focused. You plug into the light. You plug your light. Here's the light coming down. Sorry. Light coming down, plugs into one of the harnesses, one of the two plugs that come off that little short harness that you plug into the back of the light. And that's about it, really, for this side. It's pretty easy. Now I'm gonna tuck it up, tuck all the wires up, cover them up, and then button up the inner fender.